All right. Hello, afternoon snowboarders of the internet. If you missed the morning live stream, well, that sucks. There's one later tonight, anyways, so you'll get me twice if that's your type of thing. Yes, I did go snowboarding today. Yes, the snow was horrible, but the lines were minimal, so whatever. Uh, let's dive into a few of the questions because I see some are already over there. Myrna Sipkins, now that resorts are opening, will we get new Can Kevin Carve It vids? Yes, Friday the first episode will drop. There's 12 episodes filmed, I believe. So you should see a bunch of those popping up over the next few weeks. So every Friday, we will be dropping a new one for all you guys out there. For anyone in Colorado that's looking for something to do tonight, Highside Brewery in Frisco is having a fundraiser for my friend Lauren Weibert to get her to the Deaf Olympics. She is a gold medalist at the previous Deaf Olympics, so I will be there. It starts at 6 and goes till 9. For anyone that's looking for a deal on gear you cannot find online, there is the local sale at Underground Snowboards in Breckenridge, November 7th, 20% off all new stuff. So great way to get in, buy a bunch of stuff, and support a local shop. Plus, they'll be doing a bunch of movie premieres after that at the Breckenridge Distillery. I will be there for the premieres at the distillery, and I will be at the shop at some point during the day. So if you need boot fitting or anything like that, be sure to hit me up beforehand so we can schedule a time that I can be there to help you if anything like that. Anyways, next question comes from Tom Nobe. Orca or Tellus Backslash? Well, I own a Backslash, so that ought to tell you my personal preference. They're both great boards. Ride a little bit different than each other. The Orca tends to have a little more tail to push off of than the Backslash. The Backslash has very minimal tail, so that really does change how you are able to rail a turn with it. Also, the Orca, being American-made construction, is a little more damp, just the way that Mervin does stuff. So if you're looking for a more damp ride, there you go. Let's see what we got here. Cameron Anikic, injected ankle straps versus traditional stitch strap, best comfort and best for performance. Comfort's going to be highly subjective based on your foot shape and where your nerve endings are in your foot, as well as what's going on with your boot. Performance-wise, injected ankle straps will not have any stretching to them, so there will be no give. Like they're just there. That's it. It's cradling your foot. That's how it's going to be. Stitched strap, one of those. I feel that they break in a little bit better, so that they kind of contour more towards your boot. So as the season progresses on, if you have one binding, it's contoured more towards your boot, and it knows how to lock in. Whereas that injected molded strap never really breaks in. It just sort of holds its rigidity and its dimensions and everything as you're driving into it. All right. What else we got going on here? Ooh, we got a super chat from Henry Dvorak. Best ski resort in Colorado? That's a loaded question, sir. That's a very loaded question. Let's see. So, if you're looking for overall best resort, without dealing with lines, Beaver Creek, hands down, Beaver Creek, even though it's owned by Evil Vale. It's also the most bougie resort you'll ever go to. They have heated outdoor escalators that take you to the chairlift. They give you free cookies, and there's a champagne toast. And there's surface lifts that literally just take you across a footbridge to the chairlift. It's fucking obscene. But the good thing is, even with their 24-hour grooming that they have going on there, on a powder day, the people that go to Beaver Creek don't fucking go in the trees. They're just scared they might die, so they just follow the cat around riding corduroy. So you can ride powder all day, and then at the end of the day, you're going to get fresh corduroy as you go back to get your free cookies. So Beaver Creek, hands down, is the best ski resort in Colorado, in my opinion. If you're talking resort. Don't come to Breckenridge, ever. Got another super chat from Diego Chavez. Bent metal logic binding or bent metal transfer? It kind of comes down to what you're looking for. If you're a little more freestyle focused, then you want to go with the logic. If you're a little more all mountain or free ride focused, that's where the transfer comes in. It's you're pretty much splitting hairs. They're both they can both be considered an all mountain binding, but the logic, from my understanding, if I remember correctly, I might be brain farting here. is a little more freestyle, whereas the bent metal transfer is a little more free ridey ish or all mountain. The cool thing with that is you can swap the plates, the drive plates. So if you want to go with like a slightly stiffer feel or a softer feel, you can always swap them out. And I know that Mervin does sell those separately, or well, I should say Bent Metal does sell those separately. So yeah, let's see what we got. Orin 1112, can you downsize on the Solomon Huck knife? You can. I mean, if that's what you want to do, just be aware that it's not designed for that. So that puts you at the higher end of the weight spectrum, which means it's going to be more flexible. That's it. As long as it fits your boot and you're not booting out on it, yes, you can downsize. You're just going to be over the weight limit. And if you're at the highest end of the weight spectrum for a board or you're over it, it becomes more flexible. So there. Let's see what we got going on here. Ooh. Colton Baker, binding of choice for a size 13, under $200, going on a war pick. Okay, so right now there's some killer deals going on last year's bindings. So you should definitely be checking the sales section of either your local shop or Evo, Backcountry, The House, REI, Sun and Ski, Christie Sports, any of those stores, and see what they've got listed in there for sale. Because I mean, I was seeing some stuff that was drastically on sale, like 50 to 70% off. So if you're really looking for a good deal, that's your better bet, is to go with that. For the War Pig, I mean, obviously a ride binding will match up to it, like the Rodeo, the Limited, the Capo. Kind of depends on the flex you want there. I would probably just put a Rodeo on a War Pig, or maybe a Limited, go a little bit softer, because I'm pretty sure the Limited is softer than the Rodeo. Otherwise, you could do like a K2 Formula or a K2 Indy if you really want to get soft. The Rome 390 Boss, the Rome Vice, Burton Cartel, the Burton Mission, although the Mission's kind of like trickle down janky, but you got options there, bud. So yeah. Let's see what we got here. Chill Collins, opinion on the Air Blaster Ninja suit. Let's see what else did that say. Worth the price or not, dude? So here's the thing: if you have body heat regulation or you want to stay super warm, the Ninja suit is it, because it just creates that one thermal pocket for the heat to just stay in. So you're like a baked potato in there. If that's your thing. But if you're prone to incontinence or you got irritable bowel syndrome, got to be aware that you're going to be zipping around to take a poop. You can't just pull it down. You got to like zip and make sure that you're like squatting to poop. Otherwise you're going to shit on yourself. So that's like a con of the Air Blaster Ninja suit that I don't think a lot of people really take into. If you have incontinence or irritable bowel syndrome, or if you're just double chucking to the knuckle of a jump and you're going to shit yourself, could pose problems. But otherwise, I think they're definitely worth it. On top of the fact, I know if you don't get the merino ones, they're actually cheaper. So yeah. So there we go. Let's see what we got going on here. Another question from Diego Chavez. Was going to buy my setup through Evo today. How do you get credit? As long as you clicked the link through whatever review you saw it on, or if you click, you're on the website on Angry Snowboarder and you see at the bottom of the review, you can buy it and it's Evo. It'll get us credit. As long as you've clicked it through us, we'll get credit. It's all based on cookies. There's like a 30 to 90 day cookie duration. Basically, we'll get credit for it. So don't worry about it. I mean, I know in the bottom of most of our videos, there's just like a support through the affiliates, and there's the 5 links for all that. You should be fine with that. So yeah. Paul Cummins, thoughts on the Endeavor Pioneer as an all mountain board, looking to change up from my older Typo, so comparison as well. Okay, so Pioneer is going to be a little bit wider than your Typo. It's a little bit, it's like that medium volume shifted, as I call it. I also think it's a little more freestyle focused, in my opinion. It just felt more freestyle focused when I rode it at Park City Canyons. It was really easy to spin it around on a like little side hit 360, so like 2 feet in the air and just throw a 360. So seem to be that. The bigger difference you're going to notice is with that track on there for your bindings. You can dial your inserts, and the flex pattern will be different underfoot because of that. So you're going to have a slightly different feel from your typo to that Endeavor. Plus, you got two different factories of construction. So I feel like the Pioneer is a little more lively than the typo. So hopefully that answers that question. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Chico Dear Gooch, what board style makes the most sense for wet snow, aka Cascade cement? Short, fat, and thin and light like Kevin's mustache. It depends on the day. It really does up there, and it depends where the snow line is sitting if you're up there in the Cascades. So if the snow line is way down low and it means the snow up high isn't as heavy and wet, then thin and light would be the way to go. Now, if the snow line's sitting high and heavy and it's coming down wet and heavy, then you want to go wide and fat. So that short and fat comes in because you're going to get more surface area and a less length, so you're not fighting it. It also depends if you're riding steeper terrain or more low angle. If you're riding more low angle, I tend to find the short wides are better. But if you're riding wide open, long and narrow seems to work the best, in my opinion, for that. Let's see. Max67. Hi, Angry. Looking for more of an all-mountain cruiser. Currently ride a Rome Reverb Camber 53, Artifact Rocker 52, 5'10", 150 pounds. Mellow riding style and ride on the ice coast. Check out the ride algorithm. Actually, I think that board is highly underrated. It's not a crazy aggressive flex pattern to it. You can be lazy if you want, but if you want to push it to the limit, you can definitely do it. That would be one that I would definitely look for. And you can always check our review right here on YouTube. It's in the Ride Snowboards review playlist as well as the Snowboard review playlist. Let's see. Elvin's son, how was the afternoon shredding session? Rasenal sashimi, would it work as a dedicated carving board? The shred was what it was. I mean, I think I cranked out like 12 laps in 45 minutes and just dipped out. It was a little lumpy. There's some guy trying to teach his 3-year-olds how to ski. Two of them. One guy by himself on one run that says no beginner terrain. That, and there was some chick in a crop top. Fucking, that blew my mind right there as well. People watching was prime today. Otherwise, Rasenal sashimi for a dedicated carving board, I mean, it could. I wouldn't. I just feel with the way that camber profile is, you have so much nose rocker into the camber and then just the way that it's designed. I feel like there's way better boards out there. Like the K2 Simple Pleasures right off the bat would be a better dedicated carving board, or the Battalion Carver, the Endeavor Alpha. There's just numerous other boards that I would put above that for dedicated carving. Well, let's see what we got going on down here. What do we got going on here? Someone else. Josu, got an Orca and I'm riding it with K2 rear entry bindings. Am I selling the Orca short by not riding a stiffer binding? What binding do you recommend for 53 Orca things? First off, take those K2 bindings, cover them in lighter fluid, and drop a fucking match on them. Just burn them to the ground. Those are the worst rear entry bindings I've ever used. Ever. They have weird flex points. And they crease your boots weird. And I was riding K2 boots and it creased them. I do think that you definitely, a stiffer binding on the Orca really doesn't matter because it's not really that stiff of a board. It's like mid-flex, maybe a little bit past. But what you're actually losing with those K2 rear entries, so you're on the cinches, is they have that little triangle. So when you open it up, it creates a flex block. So when you're trying to get lateral play out of the binding, when you drive the board, your boot is pushing right into it, and you're not getting as much lateral play as you could. I think if you're really trying to get more lateral play and do like surfy turns with a board, but still be able to charge, something like maybe the Rome Katana or even the Targa would be a little bit better. Otherwise, you could get away with like a bent metal transfer on there as well, or the Core Pro if you wanted to go like really stiff. If you are serious about stiff bindings, though, check out the Now drives. I think like that combination of the Orca with the Now Skate Tech will give you more optimal play and drive into your edges and really let you snap off of it. So hopefully that works. I see Raul Duke made it here after the dentist this morning. He's on the Novocaines, not the cocaines, just the Novocaines. Let's see what we got going on here. Whew. Jameson Robertson, thoughts on Brian Head, Utah? I'm going to try to actually check it out this year. I haven't been down there. I've driven past it 2 or 3 times. Actually drove past it last week when I went to LA. I need to get down there and go ride that. I'm going to kind of do it like, I think February, I'm going to tool around the West Coast for about a month, just hitting small resorts that aren't on my Icon Pass and stopping into small little snowboard shops and small little manufacturers and just kind of talk to them. Tentatively, it's still kind of up in the air if that's something. Oh well, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, let's see. Lu Tang, what do you think of the Never Summer Warlock 2019 for all mountain use? I don't. I literally just don't. That is a brand I just do not fucking care for. I've ridden the Sims version of that, but it had camber, I believe. Or maybe it had shockwave camber. I can't remember. I mean, it'll get the job done, but at the end of the day, it's a Never Summer. It'll decamber after like 30 days max, and it'll be wet and dead. And the P-Tex looks like fucking garbage on the base all the time. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. Oh, God. J.E. I have a 2008 Burton Canyon 164. I rode it from 2008 to 2015, but I forgot what it rides like. Will it work on hard pack rumors? I mean, yeah, but dude, it's fucking 11 years old. Go fucking upgrade. Go upgrade. Just go get rid of it. It's a fucking fat, wide board. Like, remember when that thing came out? Fucking. My friend used to ride one because he had big ass feet, and we used to make him go pack the track down in powder because it was so fucking wide, so we could keep our speed in the flats and then cut out past him, and then he'd be left fucking having to post hole out. He was dumb. He was really dumb. Let's see what we got here. Oh, I think I missed a question here from one of you guys. Where is it? Josh Mo, are you reviewing any more Never Summer boards? I would like to know your take on the Instigator and Shaper Twin. Probably not. I just don't really give a fuck. That company can suck a fart out of my ass. I'll just be honest. They fucked me over. They owe me money as far as I'm concerned, which I don't care about the money. It's just the way that they treated me at the time. An apology from Tracy and Tim Canaday to my face would be fucking amazing, but until then, I just really don't give a fuck. And I kind of hope that their factory burns to the ground and they go out of business. But I will be riding some of the Academy boards made there next month. So, yeah, there's that. Let's see what we got going on here. Ronald Newman, what are your thoughts on the ride Psycho Candy? Is that going to ride like a Warpig? I thought the Psycho Candy was based off the Super Pig, but I could be wrong. I haven't really like drastically looked at it, but I could have sworn because Hana rides the Psycho Candy, and there's no way she would ride a Warpig. She would ride a Super Pig. And I think the Psycho Candy is the women's Super Pig, which, if that's the case, fucking phenomenal. Even if it's a women's War Pig, it'll still be super fucking phenomenal. So, let's see. DC, what boards are made in the mothership other than Capita and DC? Interior Planes Project, Dinosaurs Will Die. There's some Euro brand, and I can't think of what it is. There's not a lot being made there. I know it's Capita DC, Dinosaurs, Interior Plane Project, and I think there's a couple like Euro brands that I'm not too familiar with that are made there. But I think by and large, a lot of people have moved on over to either like the Kyle factory or the Nobly factory from there. So yeah. Oh, let's see. Okay, Dominic White. Thoughts on Vans including their high-end footbeds in their high-end boots? Do you think more boot companies will do the same? Their high-end footbed is fucking garbage. I took it out and looked at it the other day. It's just really thick foam, but it's not giving you any added support. It's just like extra thick foam in there. It's not anything special. 32 in their high-end boots, actually, you can like change the cupping around the footbed and the arch support in there. That's actually more phenomenal. But by and large, I don't think companies are going to do it because the cost to the end consumer usually negates the price points that they're trying to reach. Plus, most people are fucking dumb when it comes to getting boots fit right. So they just get improperly fit boots and then bitch and moan that their feet hurt and just assume that's how snowboarding's supposed to be. And they don't know what it's like to snowboard on clouds. And I do. And it's fucking amazing. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. Brandon Atkins, what are your thoughts about the Chamonix brand that thehouse.com made? They're for sale on target.com. That ought to tell you enough right there. That randomly popped up one day. I don't know if someone sent it to me or if I was looking for something and it showed up on target.com on the back end. And I was like, what the fuck is this? It's their house brand. That's all it is. It's a house brand. I've seen some of the boards in the wild. They don't look bad. They don't look great. They look like a snowboard. I mean, that's built at a price point. That's realistically it. I mean, they're open molds. There's nothing special going on with that company at all in the slightest. So, yeah. I mean, if you've never snowboarded before and it's your first setup, you're probably great with it. You'll be fine and you'll progress if you know what the fuck you're doing. And unless your house has been stripped of all its copper wiring and robbed by meth heads, and that's the only way you could snowboard, you should probably look for another brand. It's much like all these people buying the No Bad Day bullshit. Like, has anyone seen the new No Bad Day binding that came out? It's a fucking ripped off Union Strata, but it's not a Union Strata. It's made by a Chinese company that 3D image scanned a Strata and then 3D printed out a new one, and they're selling them for $149. I'm ordering one so I can fucking break it. But stick with legit brands that people like me tell you can trust. That's kind of how I feel about that. So yeah. Matt Wong, does a stiffer boot after use become a soft freestyle boot, or does a dedicated soft freestyle boot provide more support than a used stiff boot? It's kind of a yes on both with that. So the way you got to look at it is your boot will never be as stiff as the day you tried it on in the shop. Like, that's just a given. It's going to be that stiff, and it's going to progressively get softer. Now, I ride a really stiff boot because at the start of the season, it's really stiff. Middle of the season, it's kind of where I want it. And the end of the season, when I'm riding soft, slushy crap, it's a perfect jib boot that I can just run into the ground. And it tends to still be stiffer at that point than a dedicated jib boot. Like a jib boot, you got to realize, like, you get a soft boot, and it's soft when you try it on. It's only going to get softer. Like, I try to explain this to people that move to Summit County to work for the mountain for the first time, and they're like jib rats from the Midwest or the East Coast or whatever, and they've never been in the real mountains, and they want a soft boot that they can work the lifts in. That boot, because you're working in it all day and then riding in it at night, is just going to get softer and softer and softer and softer and eventually have no support. And when you have no support, that tends to be when you end up damaging your knees and ankles from the boot. So hopefully that answers that question. So let's see what we got going on here. Mike S., any thoughts on a Tough as Nails preseason board? Take your old board that's ridden into the ground and you ride that in the preseason. You use that to jib rocks. Actually, I got a top 5 coming out this week. It'll be the top 5 types of boards you should own. So, and I'll tell you right now, number 5 is going to be your rock board. So there, yeah, we'll have a whole discussion on that with that video on Wednesday. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Ole Venom, now freestyle binding, select versus yes. The yes has a slightly lower high back, if I remember correctly when I wrote them. I actually like the yes one more than the select. Select wasn't bad, but the yes one, just I felt like there was more drive with it, but you still had that flex from the high back, and the straps just seem to cradle a little bit better, so you could push into them and like hold a press and whatnot. Let's see. Fatman Scoot, Rome Ravine or K2 Simple Pleasure for carving, mainly groomers with the occasional hike to find powder tree runs. Also, thanks for all you do for the snowboarders of the internet. If you're really looking to carve and like carve aggressively, it's going to be the Simple Pleasures all day, every day. Now, if you're looking to ride powder more, but still something you can go out and carve with, that's where the Ravine comes in. But the Simple Pleasures will destroy the Ravine as a straight carve board every day. Like, that's just the way that thing is designed. Homo Torpedo. That's a great name, by the way. Homo Torpedo. What's your favorite part of snowboarding? Everything. Like snowboarding as a whole. I love everything that snowboarding does. Like the culture, the lifestyle, being outside in the cold, the fact that I'm not frying to death because, like, look at how white I am. Like, I can't. Like, this is about as much of me that gets sun right here. This. Everything else, I'm white as shit. Like I love the fact that I don't have to like be exposed to the elements of the sun and the heat and shit. Like I went to the beach the other day, I got water on me. The ocean tried to attack me. It's fucking scary, man. That shit doesn't happen when you're in the mountains. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Getting a lot of people asking the same questions about aftermarket insoles. Like, I don't trust any brand that puts them in their boots. There's some that are better than others, but just to reiterate, like, get a real insole. You know, unless you're broke, then maybe you can get away with a stock one. But yeah, so there. Let's see. Lutang, what's your favorite local Colorado mountain on the Icon? Also, Icon versus Epic. So Copper Mountain's my favorite on the Icon, but that's I'm a little biased. I mean, that's where I go. I could technically say A Basin because you do get 5 or 7 days there, but I don't want anyone going to A Basin, so I will not say A Basin. Copper, I think, like, is solid. Aspen is fun. Steamboat's fun. Like, the thing that I like about the Icon resorts in Colorado versus like the Epic ones is they don't have as long of lift lines. Like, they're just not as blown out as Vail is. As far as Icon versus Epic, Icon is still a travel pass in my opinion, unless you got like Copper's home base, so it makes sense for me to have one because then I can drive north to Steamboat. I could head east to Winter Park, but fuck that place, I hate it. And then I've got Aspen West and everything. But if I go and travel and I go to Utah and stuff, I've got Brighton, I've got Solitude, I've got Snowbird. You know, I've got Mammoth on the West Coast if I ever decide to go back to California, but that's my second least favorite state. New York is number one. Fuck both those states. I hate them both. But Icon is really designed for traveling, and that's the big thing. It's not for someone that's like, I'm going to camp my ass out here and get 100 days a year. Like, realistically, I should just have an Epic and be riding Breck every day. I mean, I can see the fucking mountain right out the window right there. So it's literally right there. And that's kind of the big difference between the two is, like, I feel Epic is more like, this is my destination, this is where I'm going to be, or it's relatively close, whereas Icon's like, well, hey, fuck it, I live in New York City and I'm going to go fly to Copper, and then I'm going to go fly to Utah, and then I'm going to go up to Montana, and I'm going to Jackson's Hole, you know. So yeah, that's kind of my theory on that, at least. Dominic White, what about Squaw besides the fact that it's full of dickhead Bay Area skiers? It's a fun mountain. I've heard it's a fun mountain. I lived in Tahoe, but I never went there. Didn't live there that long. It was like a couple months and then I was out. But I've also heard about the clusterfuck of idiots coming up from San Francisco and Sacramento and all that shit. So yeah. Ooh, oh, damn. Wayne McKenzie coming in hot with the fire super chat. Know any dudes that left their relationship for snowboarding? Best story? Dude, it was me. I've done it. I can't tell you how many relationships I've blown up because of snowboarding. But my favorite was, so when I was 19, I ruptured my spleen. I was taking 2 years off before I was going to go to college, and I was going to take the first winter off, save money, and then move west, go to Oregon. I really wanted to go to Oregon. Just hindsight, I never want to go to Oregon. great to visit. Never want to live there. But yeah, I was dating. So, anyways, ruptured my spleen. Had to go to college so that they would pay for my flight for life and the medical bill because they never sent the paperwork to my parents to drop me from the insurance plan. Because this was pre-Obamacare, so that ought to just tell you how old I am. Like the Obamacare just did not exist. Obama, I don't even know if he was even a politician at that. He was probably still in college. So, anyways. So they made a deal with me. If I went to college and I pulled a 3.2 or pulled above a 3.0, they would pay for everything. So I went and pulled a 3.25, and I started dating this chick. And I quote, this is the quote she told my friends. I don't know why he still wants to snowboard after his accident. I'm going to get him to quit because of me. I called her out on that, and I was like, really? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, get the fuck out of my life. I've never seen someone cry so hard. And I think I just utterly destroyed her. And it turns out she's doing porn now, I believe. Someone told me that. Like, she might be a cam model now. But for a while there, she was doing hardcore porn. I mean, actually, she'd probably be really washed up now. She'd be like 33. So she's probably like day shift stripper mom now. But anyways, yeah, I pretty much destroyed that relationship along with a few other ones. If it comes down to a relationship or snowboarding, it's always going to be snowboarding. It will be for me. So yeah, some people don't get that. That's fine with me. I really don't care. I'm fine with being alone. I'm going to die alone, and my 10 cats are going to eat me in my mom's basement. Because according to the trolls, I still live in my mom's basement, which she lives in New York, and I live in Breckenridge, so that's really weird. Yeah. So there. Hound, link to the porn? No, I don't. Fuck, I haven't looked at that thing in like 10 years. Yeah, well. Ooh, Bottled in Court question. Have you ridden Trollhagen, and who would win in a game of snow, you or Matt Guff? Haven't ridden Trollhagen, although they do follow us here on YouTube, and they like to leave really funny comments on the top 5 videos. Trollhagen Troll on YouTube, in general, just the comments that they leave on my social media is fucking hilarious. I haven't been. I definitely want to. Definitely want to go. But if it was me or Matt Guff, I mean, how many days a year does that guy actually even ride? I mean, let's be real. I'm Matt Guff, and I'm going to tell you why this snowboard today is the greatest thing on earth. And that's Matt Guff right there in a nutshell. So, no, I'd probably run circles around him. Fuck, I live at 10,000 feet. He lives at like sea level. I mean, shit. I could probably bust out a Trollhagen. I could probably do like 500 laps in an hour and not even know what was going on. So, yeah. Yeah. There you go. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Okay. I think I missed a question up here. Okay, we got one from Maxon Boucher. Hi, Avern. Asked this morning for bindings for Ride Wildlife, Intermediate Carving and Groomers. I have a good deal on Arbus Cypress 2019. Could it be a good match? It could. I mean, I think it would. The big thing that I'm hearing about the Arbor stuff, I haven't experienced it. Kevin hasn't experienced it. And almost everyone I know that has Arbor stuff hasn't experienced it. That there's some screw issues, like they strip out, and sometimes the paint scuffs off easily. But I mean, it's a snowboard binding. It's fucking getting thrown around in the back of a car and shit. So that would be the only thing that I could think of. So yeah. Let's see what's going on. Oh, water bottles here. Shout out to the man making your snowboards at Smoking Snowboards. I'm in the Tahoe area and can't travel. I usually can't travel very much, so I get the Tahoe Epic Pass, but don't want to continue to support Vail. What do you think of my situation? Well, you could get an Icon and ride Squaw Alpine. I'm just saying. And Mammoth and Big Bear are to the south, and you got June and Snow Summit. I mean, if that's your thing, you're still in California. But I mean, if you're looking for like lockdown, I mean, they've got what, North Star, Heavenly over there. So kind of have to choose your battles with that, or you could just go ride one of the non-mega resort fucking resorts. Buy a pass to one of them. I don't know. You gotta. I don't know. I hate California. I was just there. It was awful. And now it's on fire. It's literally on fire, the exact route I took out of California. I think my seething hatred caused California to spontaneously combust. I just, California's evil. Austin Montesina still making work go by fast, hoping to get the season here quicker. Any funny stories from Copper? Uh, um, well, I don't know. I did tell a snow carney that he was a minimum wage snow carney, and no one gave a shit about his opinion. It was pretty funny. I was taking a photo one day in the line. Like, this guy's stance was seriously like 7 feet wide. And it was like a 148, and he was like 6'9" or bigger. And he had probably like this much toe and heel overhang on his board. Like, he shouldn't have been riding that board. It was a rental too, which is really weird that they set him up on that. But the stance was set so wide and was like probably like 30, -30. And I was like, oh my God, I got to take a photo of this fucking thing. So I'm like scrambling to get my phone out, and I'm taking a photo, and this snow carney just rolls up and says something to me. And I look at him, and I was like, I'm just taking a photo of this guy's setup because it's kind of funny. And he proceeds to start berating me and talking down to me. And he's like, oh, you're one of those people that thinks you're better than everyone. And I was like, false. I just think I'm better than you, son, because I'm smart enough to know not to work for the mountain. And so he's going on this whole tangent about how I just think I'm better than him. And I was like, dude, this is just fucking funny. I'm putting this shit on Instagram. Guy's got a fucking like 72-inch stance. I mean, they made that one episode of Can Kevin Carvett where we maxed out the Burton channel look tiny. That's how wide this guy's stance was. It was fucking hilarious. So he's going on and on and on, just berating me. And I'm just like, finally, I just laid into him. I was like, listen here, you fucking minimum wage snow carney. You don't fucking shred. You just work here. No one asked your opinion. Get over there. Push the fucking button so the goddamn chair will go up the hill. I don't need to be fucking lectured by some dipshit that's never had a 100-day season without working for the mountain telling me how anything is. Snowboarding before you're alive. Now, it turns out my boy Bruce, who's a bartender and has helped me for years, this kid's a fan of Angry. Like, he was a full-blown fan and had no clue who the fuck he was talking to. And he pissed me off so bad. Like, I never do this. I went to customer service and filled out a complaint form. But to take it to the next level, because I did used to work at Copper when I worked for Woodward, I knew how to get in to where I needed to. I went and talked to the guy's boss and then talked to the next boss. And I'm pretty sure I got him fired because he decided to talk down to me. And I was just like, dude, we can all just laugh at stupidity on the hill. I get it. You probably rock a Ruroc helmet or some shit and you're pissed off, but whatever. But fuck that kid. And then the kicker to it was I got home that day and got a customer experience survey from Icon Pass to fill out. And so I just kept putting the kid's name and explaining the situation over and over and over again and being like, well, I would have given you a 10 for this being exceptional, but this kid just fucking ruined it. And I just couldn't believe that. Or my other favorite was when we filmed the rental board video. There's a snowcat like driving through the base area, and Dylan grabbed the board and without even looking, like, I was, swear to God, I was the only one that saw this. I didn't have the camera on. He grabs the rental board and just throws it right under the snowcat, and it just like got run over by the cat and just kept on going. And he just picked it up and he's like, this thing fucking won't break. It's fucking hilarious. So yeah. Anyways, there we go. Let's see what we got here. Mr. Mile High Ninja started last season and just invested in it quick without knowing much. Went with a 2019 Capita Indoor Survival Strata. Too much for a beginner? No, it's not too much for a beginner. Like, if you're really diving in and you've got that stoke and you really want to ride, you just future-proofed yourself from outgrowing that. I mean, wouldn't have been my first choice from Capita Union, but you've basically got a binding that you can have for a couple seasons, like, and progress with, and you've got a board that you're not going to outgrow right away as you get better. Like, that's a board that'll let you figure out what direction you want to go in. If it's more free ride, more freestyle, like, you can still ride POW with it. You actually made a really good choice. So yeah, you did really good like that. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Marco Pinsker, do pros ride super custom boards with 30 millimeters of camber instead of stock factory boards? God, I hope they're not riding 30 millimeters of camber. Holy fuck. 9 to 10 millimeters is too much for most people. So it depends on what level of pro you're actually talking about. Like if you're talking like Uber pros, yeah, they're probably actually riding something that's custom built to them. If you're talking like a regional pro, they're probably getting flowed whatever it is in there. I do know that like some companies will straight up just slap a graphic on whatever the pro wants and ride it, and people be like, "He's riding it," and I was like, "Yeah, man, that's like 3 different models and from like 4 years ago, and that's what he's riding, and it's custom made." Like a lot of the Burton stuff comes out of Craig's for the upper tier guys. It's the regional guys that are pretty much just riding the stock shit. So, yeah, there you go. Donald Edwards just got my new Battalion Carver. Any tips for riding the board? Go fast, turn hard, spray skiers. Also, push over little fat skier kids and then tell them that the only thing they're good for is harvesting their organs and bone marrow to prolong snowboarders' lives. That doesn't help with anything in the board, but that'll put the fear of God into a small child. So, yeah, there we go. Anton Clark, just mind expander for big open pow fields or tight trees. You could do both with it. I find that it's actually better in tight trees as long as you understand that you're compensating for how long the nose is on that thing. It's because you got so much setback and so much rocker in there. But if you're really looking for just ripping a giant surfy S-turn, the mind expander is fucking phenomenal. You get on that back foot and it just sinks and you can just like slash into it however you want. So yeah. Let's see. I just want to give a shout out to Vegan Frontside Air for his name, Vegan Frontside Air. Like, the only way that would be better if it was vegan, gluten-free Frontside Air. That would be the only thing that was better. I just want to give a shout out to that name. So yeah. 630C White Boy just bought a Skunk Ape 170 ultra wide, Photon Boa 15 wide. Any binding recommendations for my 6'3", 280-pound fat ass? Heel side setback is my biggest issue. I run into toe drag from hell. You're going to need something that is definitely in the extra large binding category and that has an adjustable heel cup. So you might find some of that with some of the Ride models. And I think Ride actually makes a specific model that goes up to like a size 16 boot, so it fits the Sasquatch boot that they make. Otherwise, Rome would be another one to look at, but you're going to be basically screwed on K2, Burton, let's see, Flux, some of the fixed bindings, Switchback, you're just screwed on. Look at Union as well. You might like an Atlas, maybe a Felcor, because I think they make, I swear to God, Union makes one that's like a double XL boot or binding that'll fit like, I think it'll fit like a size 18 or something fucking obscene like that. So definitely check that out. Yeah. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see. Oh, what do we got going here? Raul Duke, sugar mamas in Aspen. You eat cougar? Some of them are like bordering on saber tooth down there. You know, like they're not quite fossilized, and they're definitely past the cougar prime. So they like saber tooths. They got those big fangs, and they prowl. But they prowl early. Like, they have to go to bed after happy hour. You got to watch out for them. So, yeah. Joe Coffee, 9476. Which shred town is the easiest to find a woman for free rent, food, companionship, and maybe even a car during the winter months? Got a top 5 list? Just go to Salt Lake, man. Get yourself a goddamn Mormon woman. You go down to the singles ward, and you'd be like, I'm going to take her, sir. And you pay her like $150, and you marry her. And then you take her car and, you know, whatever, and you tell her she's allowed to work and she supports you. Like, dude, man, shred towns are like the bastions of Dudeville. Also for like closeted homosexuality. I've never seen so many closeted gay people in one spot. Like, fuck. Anytime Lindsey Graham comes to town, you know why he's here. So, yeah. Oh, let's see. Engun Saiputra. Warpig versus Arca for all mountain and all condition daily driver. Thoughts? Thank you. Been enjoying your QA. The Warpig will be more freestyle focused than the Orca. So if you're looking like all mountain freestyle, Warpig. If you're looking like all mountain with more of an emphasis towards powder and free ride, then you want to go with the Orca. That's where they kind of differentiate from the two. So that's it. Let's see. Let's see. Stop eating Chick-fil-A, people. They're evil. Let's see. Okay. Wayne McKenzie, 156 wide, evil twin for a 230 pounder. Thoughts? I'm wanting to progress my buttering. Oh, you will fucking butter on that. You will drastically butter on that. Like you are so far over that weight range. That thing will be a floppy noodle. Like Viagra wouldn't even make that thing stiff. If you just want to butter, do it. There you go. Oh, let's see. Ooh, V West. I found a returned 148 Nidecker Mosquito with a scratch on the top sheet from shipping, but never ridden for 200. Should be good in my quiver with a 57 Rome National and 53 Rome POW Division Moontail. Hyped to ride it. Dude, I think that Mosquito will actually replace your POW Division Moontail. You'll start to do it. I mean, like, that board is phenomenal. Like, it's basically everything I love about the Cool Bean amped up and then takes from like so many other boards, and just the side cut on that thing is phenomenal. Like I would ride that as a Carver cruiser party board all the time. So yeah, let's see what we got going on here. Stephen Whitman, how much experimenting do you do with binding angles on new board until you find your sweet spot? I don't. I have pretty much ridden the same binding angles for years. And up until recently, only because the way binding technology is, like way back in the day, I would do like 27, negative 23 or something like that, or negative 21. But now that like angles are way more dialed and everything, I'm only doing 15, negative 12 for where I need it to be, 21 and a half inches wide. Like I don't fuck around with my shit. I know what it is, and it is that across the board with every setup I have. Like, that's it. Homo Torpedo, thoughts on Burton AK and premium gear in general? Well, I think the lifetime warranty on the Burton AK is very nice for some people. Personally, I've always felt that AK underperforms. It's always like remind me of like that high-end technical stuff, but it doesn't handle like the normal wear and tear that I put it through with resort riding and trees and shit. I think there's a place for it. I just don't think it needs to be pushed down people's throat. Like, you have to have this at all times and only this at all times to do it. So yeah, let's see. Hound, if you can only have one snowboard, what would it be? If we're talking 2020 boards and it can only have one of them, I want the ride algorithm. I know I can do everything on it, or a Capita Mercury. Those would be the two. Like, between those two, it's a flip of the coin, whichever one was closer to the door that I had to grab. If we're talking all-time one snowboard that I would want, I think I would want like the 57 K2 Travis Parker Scorpicus Nauticus. I have a 59 in it, but I wish I had the 57 or the 55 in it. But problem is that thing's fucking narrow. But yeah, that would probably be, I don't know. I never want to limit myself to one board. I want to be able to ride everything that's out there and just be able to have my options where I need it, you know? So, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Got a bunch of questions. I think I messed up here. Brandon Atkins, what do you think of Canada? Best shredding, etc.? I grew up 40 minutes from the Canadian border. I know one thing. French Canadians are not Canadian. Canadians from Ontario, and they like to profess that they're very, very rich when they come to America, but they're not. They live in trailers. It's like trailer park boys all over up there. It's weird. They also have really amazing highways around there. It's like 8 lanes and straight as shit. You're just and you just cruise. And that. But if we're talking actual riding, I'd say probably Revelstoke or that interior British Columbia would be the way to go. I just think Whistler and Blackcomb are so blown out, and especially with Vail adding it to the Epic Pass, it's even more blown out. Revelstoke is on my list. It's where I want to be. I'm going to try to make it this year. Hopefully, we'll see. So, yeah, there we go. Raul Duke. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. Big happy birthday to Jesse Dennis. Sausages for everyone. So Jesse does a lot of our graphic work for our apparel and stuff. It is his birthday. He's 747 years old. He's just had quadruple hip replacement. I didn't even know he had 4 hips, but he did. He had quadruple hip replacement, and he's going to be snowboarding. So shout out to Jesse for his birthday for today. Let's see. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay, Michael Kulik. Averin been riding forces and was going to get a second pair, but they have now canted the footbed. Any thoughts on what would pair well with an 18 ray gun 60 wide with no more than 1.5 degrees of cant? Well, I mean, you put it on a ray gun, so you've got a softer flexing or like slightly around middle of the road flexing board, but it's like that progressing big intermediate board. Love that board, by the way. I love the ray gun. If you don't really want canting, I think you're basically, you can't look at nitro, you can't look at K2. Ride, you could probably put like a Ride Limited on there, maybe a Rodeo. Now Brigade, now IPO. Even you could even do like the Now Times Yes, even though it's a little more freestyle focused. That would be a solid one. Some of the Flux stuff like the SF, the XF, I think. Maybe it's the DS. I can't remember. They change their names so often on there. If you're looking at Rome, I really wouldn't go above a Vice. So like the Vice, the DOD, maybe a 390 Boss on there. So yeah, there you go. Powder Addict. Also, what was the definitive moment for you that made you realize that you wanted to make snowboarding the center of your life, especially moving from the East Coast to the West Coast? I fucking hated where I grew up. And there was only one goddamn saving grace to Western New York, and that was being 13 and a half minutes from Holiday Valley. I know it is 13 and a half minutes because I used to drive at 100 miles an hour from school to Holiday Valley every fucking night, taking the back way and making sure that Frank Bogartis, when he was driving the bus, did not swerve into my lane and try to push me off on the shoulder like he did almost every fucking day of the winter because he hated me passing him because he was a dickhead. I think it's also because he owed my parents money. I don't know. He was an asshole. But growing up at Holiday Valley, because that realistically was it, and I just went to a wedding with my whole crew that I grew up riding with. A lot of us hadn't seen each other, or like we'd all been together at one time in 14 years. I realized that like that was my family. Like they say you can't choose your family. You can choose your family. Those guys are my fucking family. And I needed them so much. And that's what got me through living in Western New York and got me out of there. But snowboarding was going to be the only way out for me. Like, you know, it's always like that cliche thing where they talk about like the inner city kid and they're like, football was my way out, or basketball, or rapping. Snowboarding was literally my way of getting the fuck out of there, because if I didn't, I'd probably still be working contracting. Wouldn't be for the same company I was at. I'd be doing contracting in some capacity. I'd probably be about 60 pounds heavier, might be a slight alcoholic, and I'd be fucking miserable and just struggling to make ends meet. Like, I mean, if I could make $30,000 a year there, I'd be fucking rich and still being taxed out the ass. New York is just a fucking horrible state. But basically growing up at the resort and knowing that I could be out of school, because we got out at 2:50 every day, and I could be, for the first afternoon share, I could be there by like 3:10, 3:15 at the latest. And I would ride till 10 o'clock every night. That was the only thing that was it. Like, that was the only drive I had to get the fuck out of there, because the school system I was in, legitimately, I had my teachers, the guidance counselor, which that's a joke of a job, the dean of students, and everyone tell me that my career choices were work at Walmart, contracting, work at the sucker stick factory, but college wasn't in the cards for me, and that I was going to amount to nothing in my life. Like, I legitimately had teachers tell me that I should just give up and not do anything with my life. I had it out. Like, I question authority on a regular basis. I always have, and I always will. But they couldn't handle the fact that I'd be like, why do I need to know this if it's not going to help me in my day-to-day life? I was like, can you just teach me this? It would help me. And the other thing was, it was football culture. Like, it's Friday Night Lights. Like, if you didn't play on the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team, the soccer team, or track, you were fucking weird or and anything like that. And like I like to skateboard. Skateboarding was awesome. I love like skateboarding got me into snowboarding and stuff. And it was different because you never had like a team riding on you. But that whole culture of you did what they told you to do and you it was expected of you and that was all you could do. And you know, I got listed as a Satanist for a couple years. I was a drug dealer, supposedly, which is funny because I don't do any drugs and I never have. There was like all the shit that they tried to throw at me at that time to basically put me down. But snowboarding, because they had no control over it, I worked for the resort, so I had my pass, so they couldn't do anything. Like I used to poach the school ski club bus. It was $2 to get a ride to the resort. So before I had a car, I would poach for $2 and I would go over and ride. And because I worked there, like I knew where everything was and I would just go ride for like 4 or 5 hours and hop the bus and go home. And then when I did have a car, I would do it. And like Western New York's really weird with like how friendship bases are. Like if you're a weird person, you hang out with like the other weird person, even if you're not the same age. So a lot of my friends were older than me and a lot of my other friends were younger than me. So there's like this weird gap. And so the older guys, like when they graduate high school, they would pick me up from high school and we would go and shred. And like basically like Fridays I would leave to go snowboarding. My parents had no clue where the fuck I was. And I'd just show up Sunday night, like about 9 o'clock and be like, oh, I'm tired. I got to do homework. And then I'd go to school and I would just sleep through school and shit. But I think one of the last things that was ever said to me when I was in high school was by like 3 of the most pathetic teachers. And I use that term loosely. They're not teachers. They're just there to get a pension. Like I laugh at Beth McIntyre. She lives across the street from my mom. And every time I see that dumb bitch, I'm like, you fucking, I could just go on forever about that cunt. Like if she dies, I fucking wouldn't care. But one of the last things she told me was that I would never amount to anything in life and that I will forever be remembered as a pile of shit for what I did in high school and a whole bunch of shit. And I remember the last thing I said to her was, your husband is cheating on you with a 19-year-old. And within a year, she was divorced from the guy and like just crushed her world completely. But it was one of the last things that I said to her. And there was like another teacher that went off on me. This is a super crazy feminist. And she was just like, if you were a male, she just hated you. And she went off on me and I was like, you're going to retire from teaching because you're going to break your back. The day before school the next year, a 80-pound box of books fell from the top shelf randomly, landed on her head and broke 3 vertebrae in her neck. And then one of the other guys, I think I called him out for being a pedophile or something. And he totally was a diddler. And then it was like that. But I mean, like, it was like this clique of people and shit. So it was like really fucking weird. So yeah, that's history time with Averin on how like snowboarding literally it almost killed me and saved me. Like after that, like I took a year off from school and shit, ruptured my spleen, was flight for life, shit like that, and had to stay in Western New York longer than I would have liked. Like ideally, I wish I had just moved west like the day I graduated high school, like pack my shit and just fucking go. And that's kind of how I ended up out west. I moved to Tahoe with $300 in my pocket, knowing that I would have a deposited check coming in like a month for my taxes. And I think I left with like less than $1,000 to my name. And that was it. Yeah. So yeah, that is story time with Uncle Averin there. Yeah. Okay. So we got Old Man Shredder in here. Here's a few bucks with the super chat. Anyways, any pro snowboarders that inspired you when you got started? Yeah. So I definitely grew up in that age of Mikey LeBlanc, JP Walker, Jeremy Jones Gibber, and Jeremy Jones Big Mountain. But the one that always inspired me the most was Kevin Jones because he could go throw down an urban part, a backcountry part, and then go to the X Games and win. Like he was the most quintessential, well-rounded rider ever. So Kevin was a huge influence on me to the point like if it had his name on it, I would buy it. And he's also the reason that my feet are completely destroyed because I bought the Kevin Jones Northwave boots and they like didn't matter what I did to them. I could never get them to fit right. And the best way to get them to fit was to take the footbeds out. So I was riding without footbeds and I knuckled like it wasn't even that big of a jump. I think it was only like 25 feet. Might have even been smaller than that. But I basically knuckled and my arches of my feet just were like and it was the last day of that season. I don't think I could walk right for like 2.5, 3 months. Like my feet were just utterly fucking destroyed. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what we got going on here. Looks like you guys are having a conversation about waist widths in there. Bottled and cork. My dream is to ride slush slashers with Avery and Yell. Looking good, Billy Ray, and hearing back. Feeling good, Lewis. I am so 100% down to do that with you. Anytime, any place, anywhere. I will force Kevin to film that fucking thing. I will love to just do that Trading Places montage. It would be fucking funny as shit. So yeah, yeah. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what's going on. I think I missed a few questions when I was going on my tangent about how I grew up. By the way, is the connection still being good? Because I'm not getting any notifications that it's having issues or anything like that. Profi Schimler, maybe as before, your opinion on Karua. So Karua has a really cool thing, like that whole yearning for turning carving revolution. I haven't been able to get any boards, mainly because I'm pretty sure James Beastie from the Good Ride hoarded them all last year, and that's why I couldn't, or maybe it was 2 years ago, I can't remember, to do that. I got some friends that work at Evo down in Denver, so I'm going to see if like maybe they can bring some up, or if I can figure out a way to like pick up some of their demo fleet and review them. The issue that I've heard from numerous people is that they're really stiff, like ungodly stiff. And that kind of freaks me out a little bit with my knee, just because I'm going to have to drive it so much harder. So it's like, that's going to be one of those ones, if I get any crew, is like, that's like the start of the week board. And to test it, oh my God, my eyes are bloodshot. But yeah, that's kind of like what I want to do. So let's see what's going on. Chico Dergucci, any stoked for the new TGR movie with Iguchi, Jones, and Rice? I literally found out about that, I think, Saturday, that there was a movie with them in it. I don't pay attention to anything TGR does because I feel like they're fake as fuck when it comes to snowboarding. Like it's an afterthought to them. And if you troll their forum and their community and how bad they shit on snowboarding over there, it's a bunch of fucking dentist skiers that ski 5 days a year that fucking don't do shit with their life and suck dicks with their buttholes. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, Poopile 27. Any books to do with snowboarding that you would suggest? P3. Todd Richards' autobiography. This book is fucking phenomenal. I actually gave a copy to my mom when she was trying to come to terms with the fact that I was going to be a snowboard bum the rest of my life. And I think that like kind of changed her opinion on everything and like what I was doing. That book is absolutely phenomenal. If he would ever write a sequel to that, I will own the very first copy. That book is fucking phenomenal. I actually need to reread that. Also, for anyone that remembers last month when we did the giant live stream thing, we were pushing the mystery boxes. I think almost every mystery box got a copy of that book because I had something like 14 copies. I keep buying it every time it comes up on Amazon because it's like $3-4, and I save them for gifts and mystery packages and shit. But yeah, P3 is fucking phenomenal. That is a phenomenal book. So yeah. I love this. Yay, Averin tells dark stories. Well, wait till Angry After Dark tonight. Angry Late Night might get a little perturbed. So, let's see. I feel like I'm missing some questions. Water bottle. I struggle with finding boards due to me being 130-ish pounds and having size 12 boots. Do you have any suggestions to cope with this? Yeah, start going to the gym, dude, and fucking drinking protein shakes. Jesus Christ. Size 12s and 113. What are you? Also like 6'4"? Goddamn fucking Satchmo. No, actually, there's a lot of boards out there that are wider than they used to be. Those volume shifted boards are actually really solid. Like, I mean, if you're looking for like a twin freestyle, K2 Party Platter, Marhar Lumberjack, Ride Warpig, you got more options than ever, man. If this was even 10, 15 years ago, you'd been fucked. So yeah. Yeah, so there you go. Let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Ooh. But my eyes are super bloodshot. I didn't sleep last night. I don't do drugs. Oh, Travis Hoffarth, you little fucking turd nugget. Favorite energy drink? Mescaline. I drink nothing but straight mescaline and the blood of virgins, which is why I kept you around for so many years. Just so everyone knows, Travis used to be my intern, and now he worked for Powder Tools and Steamboat, and he's on fast track doing amazing things in snowboarding. So keep an eye on Travis. He's fucking amazing. Let's see. Douglas Steppen, growing up on the East Coast, did you ever make it to Mountain Creek? Oh, God, no, man. Fucking New Jersey was like 8.5, 9 hours from where I grew up. Fuck, dude, you have to go all the way across New York, and driving all the way across New York sucks. I know. I did it last year in December when I bought a car in New Jersey. I had to fly to New Jersey to buy a car from Colorado to drive it back to Colorado. Ugh, it's the fucking worst. Yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Old Man Shredder, what's the worst named board ever? Well, if we're going with brands, it was bitch boards. Like, fucking retarded. And those boards were just horrible snowboards. Oh, it's a women-specific board because it has a graphic on it. We didn't shrink and pink it. No. You literally made a 150 that my 320-pound African friend with a size 14 foot could ride and still couldn't butter. And you were selling that to women. Bitch boards was awful. But if we're going with the actual like brand model, the K2 Jib Pan, in my opinion, was the worst named board ever for such a fucking amazing board. Like, that board was absolutely fucking amazing. Like, you couldn't go wrong with it. And the name, everyone's like, oh, it's a jib stick. And I was like, it's not a fucking jib stick. Like, this thing's way better at jumps than it is at jibbing. That thing was off. Just that name was awful. But if anyone's got like an 08 jib pan with camber in good shape, get at me because I'll buy it. Yeah, let's see. Brandon Atkins, did you design the Marhar Lumberjack X? No, I had no say in that. That was all Nate. That's all Nate, 100% Nate. I only helped with the regular Lumberjack. I had an idea, and they had the technology, and I felt like they were the ones that could realistically put together a prototype in short time. I think from the time that I hand drew the design for it and snapped a photo of it on my phone and sent it to Nate till the time he had a prototype, I think it was only like 3.5 weeks or something absurd like that. And yeah, but no, the Lumberjack X, 100% all Nate, and that board is fucking killer. So yeah. Oh man, you guys are just like having a fucking goddamn conversation in the chat room. Ian the Welshman finally managed to source an algorithm here in the UK on special order. How come manufacturers push some models like the Pigs and DOA but ignore some other models worth riding? So, funny story about the algorithm. When I was talking to Big Jim from Ride, who's like the brand manager marketing guy, I told him, I was like, dude, that board's fucking phenomenal. He goes, yeah, we kind of just made that as a joke. It was one of their marketing people or like someone in there basically wanted a board like that, so they made it, and everyone was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is cool. Yeah, we'll make it, and we put it out. But they're not hyping it because it wasn't like it's not the Super Pig and the War Pig and the new Berserker and the Commissioner. It's just like this afterthought board, and it replaces that piece of shit, the Machete GT. And yeah, it replaces the piece of shit Machete GT, and it's just one of those decks that I think it just kind of slides under the radar. There's a lot of them like that I get on, and I was like, why the fuck aren't you hyping this? And then it turns out to be like a sleeper hit, and everyone's like, oh, we weren't expecting to sell out of that, and then we sold out, and holy shit. And I'm like, dude, times have changed. Like, even though you're not putting traditional marketing behind it, just giving that to one person to do a review on can get that in front of 1 million people. So yeah, hopefully that's good. Goddamn, Travis, asking more questions. You ever going to write a book? I've tried to write a book a couple times. I got a couple chapters written. I don't like the way it goes. Also, Travis, are you coming over to High Side Brewery in Frisco for Lauren and Kobe's fundraiser to get Lauren to the Deaf Olympics? You better fucking be there. I'll see you at 6. Uncle Bruce will be there. God, I'm using this to freaking tell my friends where to go. Let's see. Let's see. Man, you guys really aren't asking that many questions right now. I don't think so. Oh, yeah. I guess American Dream is opening next month in New Jersey. Might have to go to New Jersey to go ride an indoor dome. I don't want to go to New Jersey. That place is awful. It's definitely in my top 10 worst states, but New York and California are 1 and 2. California. How the fuck do people drive in LA traffic? That was fucking mind-blowing. Leo Tagano, have you reviewed the Nitro Beast? Not yet. I'm going to try to see if I can grab one here in November. No guarantee on that. If not, I'll get a 2021 and review that. Let's see what up. Nyack, are Mervin boards less durable? I've seen some people complain. So here's the thing that I feel people complain about with Mervin boards, because they use so much tip fill in the nose and they have those tucked edges that when you hit things, it just it drastically chips. Mainly, I find the people that generally complain about the durability are fucking idiots. And it's like, it fell off the rack and I hit the corner of it and it right where the tucked edge is and it blew out. Well, it fucking fell off a rack full weight and just went clunk and did that. Or, they're fucking the idiots that their board flies off their roof rack on I-70 at 100 miles an hour. My board didn't survive. It got hit by a semi. What the fuck did you think was going to happen? Durability is so subjective. Like, I've seen people that cannot ride brake shit and just be like, what the fuck are you people doing? Like, that shit just blows my goddamn mind. Like, what the fuck? By and large, I think the big issue is that tucked edge. You just don't have a full metal edge wrapped around the tip. So when it does impact, it chips more and it just peels, but it's easier to repair at the same time. So, yeah. Let's see. S2000 guy, do you know of any aftermarket discs that can be used in Burton reflex bindings to get more adjustability from toe to heel edge? I don't know of any that will actually fit and match up with the groove in the teeth. I mean, I've made K2 discs fit in some cartels and was able to slam them back a little more. Otherwise, yeah, I don't really think there is anything. Let's see. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Fuck. Oh, but if we are going to talk about really bad named snowboards, when Ed Hardy did snowboards, that was pretty fucking douchey. So, yeah. Joe Stazzoni, do you have any experience or know anyone who has had issues with the top sheet cracking on a War Pigs? Yeah, I know a few people that have had some issues with that. I think it's just the way that they mill it, and then because it doesn't have a traditional top sheet, it just shows damage different. I know, supposedly they fixed that for this year. Yeah, so there's that. But yeah, a few people I know have had that. Tim's ideas: K2 Cool Bean versus Razi Sushi versus Skeleton. Whoa, that is 3 different boards. Okay, so let's break this down for you if we're going to go in terms of flex. It will be stiffest. Cool Bean, Skeleton Key. Over here, Sushi over there. So that. Torsional flex, there is next to none on the Cool Bean. The Skeleton Key has more, and the Sushi has the most. If we're talking about ripping side cut, I think the Skeleton Key and the Sushi have a better side cut because you can really torsionally flex the board more than you can the Cool Bean to really drive it. realistically, all three of them have their pros and cons. I do own a Cool Bean. I kind of wish I had a Sushi, and I did like the Skeleton Key. Uh, Basically, you've got like you just got to figure out what flex pattern is going to best fit your needs and which one is going to best fit what you're looking for. Like for me, I go with the Cool Beam because it gives me more stability, even though I sacrifice torsional flex, because I can throw my weight off the tail and drive it off that way with the whole rocker and the nose just being like way up and go with that. Poopile27, have you listened to the Snowboard Project? I've really enjoyed last season's podcast so far. I listened to 2 episodes and was so unimpressed and bored out of my fucking mind that I just decided to write it off. Plus, it's a Mark Sullivan project. He's notorious for starting things and then they go nowhere. I mean, he's, or he'll sell them off or something. I think podcasting and snowboarding will be the next big thing. I think he's got a good idea, but the fact that he takes like 4 months off a year, like you can't run it like a fucking magazine you did 20 years ago. You got to run this like you need to have your new content, whether it's monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, whatever, and keep that going. And unfortunately, I just don't think he does it. And he will hit a point where he will run out of people to interview. And that's it. Plus, some of the people that he's interviewing, I was like, why the fuck are you digging these people up? Like, but whatever. It's not my project. And like, out of sight, out of mind. I don't have time to listen to it, and I just don't care to. So, yeah. Let's see. I feel like I'm missing some questions. Nope. Guess we're good here. Chico Dear Gooch, does GP87 make for brands any bigger than Lago? If so, what are the chances they get hurt by Telos growing popularity and jump to a new factory, or will they just become another mothership? Okay, so here's the thing about GP87. They actually make a lot of boards. They do make boards for Gentum. They make all the mass-produced boards for Gentum. You got Telos, Lago. They were doing Nightmare. They're not doing Nightmare. Borealis. Or maybe there's a brand called Shaman. They've got something like 40 or 50 brands that they actually make for. The only reason that Telos actually even exists was their Japanese distributor was saying, hey, you have to have your own brand so that we can sell you guys over here to other people and whatever and do it. And so they did it. And, their thing is like it's growing the way it needs to, but at the same time, they're like, we're not really competing with anyone, and a lot of the brands that they do work with, they actually help design the specs and everything for. So, so they do kind of have that going on, that they have their hand in with everyone else. I know that they were trying to pick up like a few other brands, and I don't really know if that's going to happen. Like some brands were jumping ship from other factories, but by and large, I think like Telos, I mean, I'd be surprised if they even make 2,500 boards globally. Like globally, it's just they're making some good stuff. They're getting some hype from me here, and it's helping sell, and that's really cool. So yeah, hopefully that answers that questions. Let's see. Raul Duke, you sign up for the Dirks and Derby? You going out there for that? Fuck, dude, I really don't want to do that road trip. I'm probably not. I think there's something going on around there that I'm going to be here because, like, the next week, I think I have to go back to deal with some family shit in New York. I can't remember. I should double check that, but I'm pretty sure there's something going on. Let's see. Let's see. Raul Duke, Slush Slasher is a cult. Religions are questionable. All religions are snake cults. All snake cults are religions. It's a true statement from a sworn atheist. Wesley Wheeler, Slush Slasher is calling my name. How do you guys like it in the park? I'm like 80% park, 20% all mountain on a usual day. Okay, is your version of park like Yagoon style of riding? It wouldn't be my first choice. mean, there's so many other boards from Capita and Spring Break that I would go with over that, especially for 80% pork. It's a party board. It's for having fun and fucking around in the spring or for mellow pow days. That's really it. Daniel Bunker, do you get concerned by matching binding styles with board styles, thinking of the Malavita Reflex with Yes Jackpot? No. I don't really look at that shit like, oh, I need to match this binding to this board. Like, I rode the same binding for fucking like 10 years, just replacing it with a new iteration every time. And it was the second lowest end binding that K2 made. I would just gut parts off the formula and put it on the Indy. And basically it would give me the flex that I wanted, and I would ride it like that. Like, bindings to me are more of a utilitarian thing where it's like you just need to be connected to the board. Like, they keep coming out with all these new bells and whistles and all this shiny fossilized anodized pixie shit type of stuff that they're marketing to you guys. And unfortunately to me, I'm just like, can I just have a meat and potatoes binding that I can like strap on and just go fucking ride and know it's not going to blow apart on? Like, that's all I need. That's literally it. Let's see what we got here. Powderhead. Chloe Kim started a YouTube channel. Oh, she's going to have some really creepy stalkers. I feel really bad for Chloe if she's starting a YouTube channel. Ugh. Let's see what we got here. I think I missed another question up here. John Agnew, what size Orca? 6 foot, 215, size 10, 53 or 56? 53 if you're riding lower angle POW, not as steep stuff and more trees. 56 if it's steeper angle POW and a little bit more wide open. Like, you're on the cusp of either of them. You really couldn't go wrong. It also depends. If you're like Colorado, I would go with the smaller size, but if you're more coastal, I would go with the bigger size. So it really comes down to what you're looking for on that. Let's see. I think I missed another question up here. Ooh, got super chat. Oh, well, John Agnew with a super chat right after I answered his. Oh my God, Joe Stazzoni talking about Chloe Kim. She was doing a true or false about snowboard info on the internet, and she said she didn't think weight mattered as much as height and snowboard. Oh my God, she's fucking retarded. She's retarded. She's hit her head too many times. She's got CTE. She's going to die. I thought I was retarded after 23 concussions. She's fucking doomed. She's doomed if she does not understand that physics are what literally drive her snowboard. Like, the downward weight on a snowboard is going to drive it. And that is the thing. Like, it is designed around a weight ratio. Oh my God, she's retarded. Donald Edwards, best deep powder boards. Okay, let's get into this one for you. I'm going to give you a really quick top 5. Number 5. The Jones Hovercraft. That board rips. It grips. It does what you need it to do. Number 4, I'm going to throw out the Libtech Orca in here. Now, bear with me. Everyone thought this would be higher up, but this is a great powder board, but it's got a lot of hype behind it, and you can ride it. But there are better, more POW-specific boards, especially for deep days. Number 3, all right? We're going to go with the Ride Berserker. I know my review was unfavorable with it, but that board does rip in POW. It is absolutely fucking phenomenal. And we'll throw in an honorable mention to the Ride Super Pig as well, but those are really solid. Number 2, I want to go with the Burton Skeleton Key on this. That board is very surfy and slashy. And number 1 will be the Endeavor Archetype Swallowtail. That is the best powder board on the market. Everyone should buy one. So there you go. Yeah. There you go. Oh, Kim Farrell, what's your views on Burton step-ons for Almon? Are just a fad and good for Reynolds? Oh, I fucking hate step-ons. That was one of the most painful things I ever fucking reviewed. Like, physically fucking painful, because I had to use their goddamn boots. And they just, they have issues. Like, they're great. Here's the thing. Like, do you sit down to strap in? Do you spend more time in the lodge than on the mountain? Sure, that's who it's for. You actually rip, it's not for you in the long run. It just doesn't, performance-wise, it's just not that good of a fucking product. Like, it's just, you can watch the review on the channel here. You can go back and watch our review from like 2 maybe 3 seasons ago now. That thing still gets comments from haters that tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, you need a fucking step on to go ride. Like, I ride 100 plus days a year. Like, I've already got 2 days and it's fucking October. So, yeah. Skylar W. I have a size 14 boot and just got a Twin Pig 156 wide. My heel and toe still hang out a little. How much toe heel overhang is still an okay? I mean, so what you want to do, put your boot in your binding and put the board flat and then roll it over on its edge and see how far it goes until the toe like fully hits the ground, until it like just hits, and then do it back again until the heel hits and see, and then ask yourself, even if you're on snow, because you're going to lose a little bit of that leverage because you're on snow, but just ask yourself, I mean, if it looks like an obscene angle, you're probably fine. If it's like you go like this and it's like maybe that much and it's hitting, you probably have too much there, bud. So yeah, hopefully, yeah. Aaron Tangadal, what's your favorite board for super pipe? Oh man, dude, I don't even fuck with the super pipe anymore. I'm too old for that shit. I ride the mini pipe at Copper instead. But anything with camber. Lately, like for me, it's the Interior Plane Project Honolulu and a 54. That's like my go-to pipe board. But if I had my way, I wish I'd never sold it. I had an old Ride Concept UL with the white cloth top sheet. Oh my god, that thing was the best fucking pipe board I've ever ridden in my life. Like, oh, I just cream myself every time I think about that. So yeah. Lu Tang, you hit an A basin this month. I hit A basin this today. That's twice. I've been up to the basin already. I have an A basin season pass, just so everyone knows. Like I think I clocked about 100 days there last year out of about 160 something days on the hill. I think roughly, say 160 roughly, but yeah, it was close to 100 days I got up there. So yeah, I'm an A basin season pass holder. We will be doing an event at some point on the beach, like a barbecue for all you guys. So if anyone's around, like I'll put this out like probably 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time and be like, hey, we're doing this. Like I'll rent a beach spot. I'll have a grill. We'll have burgers, fries. Maybe I can get Jesse Dennis to send some Schaller's Stube brats and stuff, be the official sponsor of it. But yeah, we're going to do something on the beach up there at the basin. I love the basin. I ride the basin 100 plus days every year. So yeah, there you go. Let's see. Let's see. Wesley Wheeler, switchback versus ride binding, specifically Smith's versus rodeo. Well, switchback is like a Fisher Price fucking binding. Like I'm not impressed. I'm just not impressed. Like I like the concept of it being modular and you can take parts from everything and mix and match and stuff. But the footprint is super wide. The dead spot is fucking absolutely huge. The flex in them is garbage. The ratchets are garbage. Like it would be the ride bindings, the rodeo every time if I had to choose between the two. Like it just switchback. Like every time they redesign it, it gets a little bit better, but it's so incremental. It's not like there's so many good bindings out there. Why would you settle for mediocrity? It reminds me of like riding a Tech 9 binding from 10 years ago. Oh, yeah. Profi Schimler. I'm 150 pounds and 5'9". Is a 158 too big for a Neo Slasher as an all-around split board for me? No, because you're using it as a split board. That will actually, that length will give you more edge grip as you ascend in there. I think 58 would be fine, unless you're riding like some really low angle, tight tree bullshit. But yeah, you should be fine with that. So, let's see. Cool. Poopile 27. What's worse, riding a Gilson or riding a Skate Banana? Here's the thing, like the Skate Banana is just a bad board, and the marketing behind it just needs to stop existing because everyone's like, it's this fucking golden parachute magic bullet unicorn that can do everything. No, it's a fucking soft flexing center reverse camber board. You just don't know how to snowboard. That's the thing. Like I could ride a Skate Banana and have a good day. That's not hard. A Gilson, I would be fucking miserable. You can't dig an edge in on anything. Like there's no edge grip. You're just like, it's a fucking buster sled. You're putting it so far over on edge to get it to engage. At that point, you go any further, you've leveraged yourself out. You're going to wash out. I do have a 49 dual from them that I'm going to go ride. Maybe I'll take it out this week. I'll fucking go out and ride the white ribbon to death on it and see if I die. But yeah, fuck Gilson. They're the worst. Yeah. All right. Ooh, John Agnew with the super chat. Archetype versus Orca for POW. Obviously, one is Swallowtail, but can you compare the two and their differences? Also, 160 wide versus 62 for Archetype. 215, size 10 boot. Like to carve groomers. Okay, so here's the thing. You get slightly better edge hold on ice with the Orca just due to the magnet traction. That's just going to be the nature of the beast. You get that. But if we're talking balls to the wall, I'm going to go as fast as possible, and I want the best float. That's going to be the Archetype over the Orca. It floats so much better. That tail, that taper, everything sinks. It gets that nose up, and it beelines so much better than an Orca, where the Orca I feel is just better for like in tree riding. Not even that much better. The big difference will be the dampness in the boards. That Archetype is a lot more lively of a board due to the fact it's made in China, just the construction method. It doesn't have like a gallon of epoxy in it like the Orca does. The Orca is going to be a little more resilient to micro vibrations. It's going to absorb it. So if you're in really rutted out terrain, you won't take as much of a hammering in your knees. Now, if you really like to carve groomers, in all honesty, the Archetype is fucking phenomenal at carving. But I would say actually get the Maverick, which is the solid tail version of the Archetype. So hopefully that answers that question. Yeah. Anyways, I've been on for an hour and a half, guys. I'm going to take 2 questions, and then I'm getting out of here, and then we'll do Angry Late Night at 9:30 tonight. So, yeah. Leo Tagano, is narrower waist width make a more maneuverable board? Yes and no. It really comes down to the torsional flex on a board. Like, we're seeing a lot of stuff getting wider. Like, it's funny, what a regular width board is now was considered a wide board 10 years ago. And then, like, what is a wide board now would have been like a mega wide board back then. So it's really funny like that. The big thing is going to come down to the side cut and the flex pattern coupled with the camber profile. If you can engage all 3 of those attributes perfectly, even though the board is wider, it will still negate having that wider waist to it than a narrower waist. So, yeah, hopefully that answers your questions. Let's see. One more question. I think I missed one up here. Oh, God, you guys want Johnsonville brats? Ew. Schaller and Weber, man. Fuck. No, Johnsonville's garbage, dude. Ugh. Let's see. No one missed a question up here somewhere. Huh. S2000. Oh, shit. Got another super chat. Jonathan Marin. Thanks, Avery. Appreciate what you're doing. Thanks for the super chat, bud. I super appreciate that. Where was I? I was looking at a question up here. S2000 guy, any feedback on the ride Fuse boots? I have a narrow foot, not many options for me. Heard they may be a good fit. No local stores have them, so I can't try them. Kevin actually has the Fuse. It's more like a V shape, so it's a little narrower in the heel, but it's slightly wider at the forefoot. But it does have that Intuition liner. It's not like crazy wide. Solomon's tend to run a little bit narrower, and certain models of Burton, like if you can find. It's not stuff that they usually sell in North America. It's usually like the European only stuff tends to run a little bit narrower, just like the Japanese Burton stuff tends to run a little bit wider. Some of the K2 stuff runs narrower as well. Like I think the Masis, it's either the Masis or the Masis Plus does. The Ender runs narrower as well. What I need to do is sit down, try every single boot on in the industry, and be like, narrow, regular, wide, narrow heel, that, and just do like a whole video where like I just break them down for the whole year. And that might be something that I look at doing for next year. So yeah, hopefully. Oh God, stop giving me super chats to say hashtag Moguls love. Moguls fucking suck. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back at 9:30 tonight. If you're around Summit County, you want to support a great cause in snowboarding, swing on over to Highside Brewery in Frisco. My friend Lauren is doing raffles. Prizes is $20 at the door, but I did give a snowboard and a bunch of other stuff for her to give away, and there's some great prizes. Also, November 7th at Underground in Breckenridge, they are doing their Locals Appreciation Sale. It's 20% off all the new stuff that's in there. It should be marked down as well. And they're doing a bunch of movie premieres at the distillery afterwards. I'll be there sometime during the day, so if anyone needs like boot fit stuff, I'll be popping through. Hit me up, send me a message, DM me on Instagram, whatever. I'll be there if we can set up a time, and I'll come and friggin' boot fit you, do some custom fit work for you and whatnot. Otherwise, I'll see you guys at 9:30 tonight, and we'll do stream 3.